Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia said yesterday that he would not be surprised if the Supreme Court completely invalidated the death penalty sometime in the near future. Scalia addressed capital punishment during a University of Minnesota law school appearance. The death penalty came up, and Justice Scalia said, recent decisions by the Supreme Court about the death penalty have made it, quote, practically impossible to impose it, but we have not formally held it to be unconstitutional. And earlier in his remarks, Scalia said, quote, it wouldn't surprise me if it did fall, meaning the death penalty. The nearly 3,000 person crowd was very happy about that, mostly hearing applause from all areas of the auditorium. Antonin Scalia said that rulings have added mitigating circumstances that have to be considered, or sometimes have made it impermissible to automatically sentence people to death for certain crimes, such as, for example, if you kill a police officer, you can't automatically be sentenced to death. You still have to go through a sentencing phase and go through the entire process. In the U.S., the death penalty is legal in 31 states, as well as in the federal civilian and military legal system. So we had that famous case in Massachusetts, Lewis, years ago, where our friend's father was actually the defense attorney, where a nurse was accused of murder on a VA hospital grounds. And because it was a federal agency, even though Massachusetts did not have the death penalty, they were attempting to get the death penalty. So many reasons to get rid of this barbaric practice. Innocence, 1 in 25 on death row, believed to be not guilty based on a recent study. Mental illness, 1 out of every 10 who has been executed in the U.S. since 1977 is mentally ill. It's very expensive to execute inmates. People say, well, get rid of the appeals and then it'll be way cheaper. That's insane. We already have 1 in 25 on death row not guilty. You want to make the process even faster? That seems ludicrous. You prolong the suffering of the victims' families as opposed to saying life without parole, done deal, no more worrying or thinking about what is ultimately going to happen to the perpetrator. And it really makes the U.S. look bad, Lewis, because it's not a deterrent to crime. And other countries at our level of development have figured this out already. The state should not be in the business of killing people.
Yeah, I mean, the reasons for getting rid of it really have nothing to do with the constitutionality of it, right?
You could make that argument. Some say that the death penalty does violate, that it is a form of cruel and unusual punishment. But the thing is, you don't even need to go to that to have a really good argument against the death penalty.
Right. There are plenty of reasons we just outlined. So, yeah, of course, I'm with you on this one. It needs to go.
And I also forgot to mention another important element, which is the disproportionate application of the death penalty based on both the race and class of the alleged perpetrator. So the death penalty has to go. Even Antonin Scalia conceding that it may well go at some point in the near future. That would be a great day for the United States of America. I'm on Twitter at @Pakman. Lewis is on Twitter at Lewis Motomedy. We'll take a quick break. Patriot Mail is coming up next.